Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So as we stand on July 5th, I think it's safe to say that the large bulk of the offseason has completed. We've had unrestricted free agency. We've had a bunch of trades and sign-in trades. Not saying there's not going to be restricted free agents that end up getting traded, potentially other names going to different teams selling, teams buying. There's a lot of teams that still have a lot of salary cap space that they want to spend. But for the most part, the rosters are roughly what they're going to be on opening night for these teams. So I decided to ask you guys, if you've been subscribed to me for a while, you know that I love to do these where I fire up a Google form and get your opinion on a certain topic. So I decided to ask you about every single team in the NHL. Here's what I asked you: to rank these teams 1 through 5, straight up bad, aggressively meh, wild card race, safe playoff team, and then a contender. And when looking at it, then we combined all this. I had Babiak go through the data and make the graphics 25 through 32, 17 through 24, 9 through 16, and then 1 through 8. And I'm going to react to it now. So let's dive into it. Up first, 25 to 32. Again, shout out Babiak for doing this. Watch the latest episode of the podcast. Okay, Bruins at 29th, Penguins worst. Penguins really has to, like, today, if the season started today, I don't think the Penguins would be as bad as the Sharks or the Hawks. But yeah, if they end up selling one or two over Kell, Rust, or Carlson, they're probably going to be at the bottom. Hawks 31. I think the Hawks might honestly be better than the San Jose Sharks. Like, I feel people are underrating, although the Hawks had Seth Jones last year. The Sharks did trade Granlund, Wallman, and Blackwood. Like, they were horrible last year, and they lost some of their best players. I know that they're going to have a lot of internal growth, but so should the Blackhawks. But Bruins 29th. I see the vision. I think their forward core might genuinely be arguably the worst in the entire NHL. Outside of David Pastrnak, it's pretty much the worst. But I think that defense core is being slept on a little bit. Lindholm was out for a decent stretch. McAvoy was out for the final 2 months. And Swayman can't play worse. So I got to disagree with you guys on the fourth worst team in the NHL. Sabres, I'm starting to like, I think that they actually could be pretty decent. I guess I'm way too high in too many teams. I think the Kraken are going to be painfully bad. Flyers, they'll be fun now that they have Zegras, but I don't think that's going to translate to that much winning. And the Predators 25th, they're another team that I think is going to bounce back a decent amount. I think you guys got it right around that 8th to 10th worst team still, but they weren't as bad as they were this season. That was clearly just everything went wrong for the Nashville Predators. And Barry Trotz, for some reason, is bringing in a bunch of talent, not massive talent, but he's committing to this team for next season. Next up, my Islanders 24th. Yeah, I don't know how to view them, man. Dobson obviously gone. Brock Nelson gone. Matt Barzal only played like 30 games last year, so you got to account for that. Yeah, their defense score is gonna be pretty bad. that is the clear weakness of the team heading into next season. They have a pretty decent forward core. It's really going to come down to Ken Sorokin give you a top 6, top 7 goalie season. Because if he can, I think they'll be in the mix for the playoffs. Flames, yeah, I think the Flames are going to come back down to earth. They didn't really do much this offseason. So unless they get some internal growth, I think they're going to regress. Ducks, fair, yeah. I can't really hate on that. They brought in Kreider, they brought in Granlund. They just got to hope that internally they get some growth because they lost John Gibson, who was so good for them last year, and have like Husso or Mrazek as their backup now. Wings, yeah, I think I'm about to say, like, they're going to probably miss the playoffs by like 5 points. It is what it is for like the third straight year. Canucks, we talked about it on the podcast a lot. Pedersen, Demko, complete question marks. The rest of the team, you kind of know what you're going to expect. Jackets, yeah, you guys have the Jackets not taking some kind of step. I think they were a little bit fugazi last year, but also the goaltending can't be worse this year compared to last year. It was horrendous. So I think that's about fair. I'm kind of higher on the Rangers, I'm not going to lie. Bringing in this guy right here, Gavrikov, is going to help a decent amount. And a lot of guys just had shit seasons on that team. I don't think they're going to return to President's Trophy form, but in a pretty weak Metro division, I think they're probably going to make the playoffs, as unfortunate as that is. And then yeah, St. Louis, last year, they needed, 13 1-1 stretch down the end to make the playoffs. So I don't expect that to happen. But with some internal growth, especially within that forward core, they should yet again be in the mix for the playoffs. 16 through 9, the Mammoth check-in. You guys think the Mammoth are going to be a playoff team? I tend to agree with that. I think I would pick them right now to make the playoffs over the St. Louis Blues. Canadians over Senators. Canadians, similarly to some of the other teams we've talked about, like last year was kind of objectively fugazi because the defense was so bad. Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson just put the team on their back down the stretch. But I think adding Dobson, Demidov full season, they are probably going to be a playoff team. And it wouldn't shock me if they hit the 100-point mark. The LA Kings, I'm starting to be out on the LA Kings for next season. I know that I was out on them last year, but what the hell is Ken Holland doing? Like that defense score is gone from a top 3 defense scorer in the league, probably to like middle of the pack, maybe even below average. And that was their entire identity. I don't think Kemper's going to have nearly the level of success in front of that defense core. They could be a sneaky no playoff team. The St. Louis Blues potentially taking their spot would not shock me. The Minnesota Wild, yeah, they didn't impress me. I thought they were going to do more this offseason and get within that top 10 and maybe have a chance to win a Stanley Cup. Don't think that they're nearly in that top tier at this point or even have like a dark horse shot. Capitals, I don't know how to read them. They're definitely going to come back down to earth considering their underlying numbers, but they're still a damn good team. So I get you get what you're saying. With them, the Devils, I'm starting to sour on the Devils. Like last offseason, I was the ultimate Devils glazer. I might even say Capitals ahead of Devils right now just because they didn't improve that forward core drastically like I thought that they would. They still have Timo Meyer's their 4th best forward, and then who's their 5th? Like Dawson Mercer. Defense core, if they can stay healthy, it's going to be health, but it's been consistently health with this goddamn team where you can't say if they're healthy. They're never healthy. This team is never healthy. And then the Lightning at 9th. I'm pretty high in the Lightning. I obviously had them winning the Stanley Cup this year, but they actually have forward depth. And I think having a full season of Gord, having a full season of Bjorkstrand, Jacob Peltier, I really like that signing as well. I think that they're pretty easily a top 8 team, maybe even top 6. And then lastly, we have 1 through 8, the Toronto Maple Leafs at number 8. And yeah, coming into the offseason, I wasn't that high in the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I think what Brad Treliving did this summer in terms of bringing in someone like Michelli that can maybe ease the pain of losing a playmaker like Mitch Marner for a 1/4 of the cost almost was a good move. Nick Waugh as well is a pretty damn good bottom 6 that they're going to add into the mix. The Jets at number 7. Yeah, I think they're going to come crashing down. Not crashing down, but regress a decent amount, considering they lost Nick Ehlers. They only replaced him with like Nyquist. It's not looking too good for Winnipeg, but still easily should be a safe playoff team. I'm not trying to say that they're going to be battling with the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks for the final wild card spot or something in the Mammoth. Colorado. I'm pretty high on Colorado. But I don't know who I would put ahead of him. Like, I think Colorado, they went for it last season, but they were able to re-sign Brock Nelson. They still have like $7 million of salary cap. Like, I think that they're planning some kind of move. Like, when you talk about teams that have cap, that should be spending that cap and spending it on an upgrade potentially within that defense core, I would like to see a decent amount. So they're a sneaky team. Canes at 5. I guess people are just can't believe in them. I don't blame them, considering Jesperi Kotkaniemi still the second line center. But they're like the exact same team minus Burns, Orlov, and Roslovic, and plus Nikolai Ehlers and Keandre Miller. And they still have like $10 million of salary cap. So I have the Canes as a top 3 team, in my opinion. Maybe I'm getting like the fell for it again badge, like that meme says. But yeah, they should be damn good. Vegas, interesting. Losing Pietrangelo, obviously, but he was battling through injury the last season as well. Getting Mitch Marner. Talked about in my contract grades. They're going to be great in the regular season. Don't get me wrong with Mitch Marner. How that will translate to playoff success, we shall see. But I think definitely a safe top 5 team. No, actually, I think I might have Colorado over Vegas. I'm not going to lie. And then the Dallas Stars at number 3. They're not going to be the same team, but still a pretty damn solid team. They're basically running back the same team, minus Granlund, minus CC, but that's kind of a plus. The Edmonton Oilers at number 2. Yeah, it didn't improve. If anything, got worse, but they did completely run through the Western Conference. The Dallas Stars, Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games, the LA Kings in 6 games, but they're no longer the same team. And then the Florida Panthers at number 1. No shit there. They also ran through everybody outside of the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they went to 7 with. But this team is insane. The fact that they're going to have a full season of Brad Marchand, that third line, they are the presumptive favorites. They're only like, I think they're plus, I posted it, they're plus 700. And then like the Oilers and Canes are plus 750. I thought that they would be like plus 500. In my opinion, they're obviously like, you're taking the field over the Florida Panthers, but they should be head and shoulders in terms of the overall odds. So that kind of surprised me a little bit. So let's go through it one more time. I think you guys are hating on the Bruins just a little bit too much. And I think the Sabres could surprise you. Next up, I think the Rangers are going to make the playoffs. I think the Canucks could be worse. I think the Flames could be worse as well. Through here, Canadians, I really don't have a full read on them, but I think the LA Kings might miss the playoffs straight up, the Ken Holland effect. And then lastly, we have this, which I think is pretty fair, but I am pretty high in Colorado. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about your own rankings? This is not me. You can't criticize me in this video. I guess you can criticize what I think of your rankings. What do you think about my thinking about your rankings? I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace. And follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter, so you don't miss something like this when we do it again. Peace.